100 years ago, thanks to the Brits and the AIJAC forces, that was the end of the Ottoman Empire after 400 or 500 years, depends what you decide to take as the point of the beginning. More than 400 years in which the Ottoman Empire controlled the whole Middle East, or almost the whole Middle East. And after that, the agreement between the Brits and the French brought into the world states in the Middle East, mainly in the Levant. In the last 5 years, what we see is this integration of so many countries. And we ask ourselves, why? What happened? And I think that the source of this big change is in 3 different areas, which combine together to a perfect storm. The first, chronologically, is the Iran Revolution, which brought into the picture very dynamic force. The Shiites, who are only 15% of the Arab Muslims, or the Muslims around the world, is now the dynamic force in the Middle East, led by the Iranians, and they have a huge vision about the future, in which Iran is numero uno in the Middle East at least. And now they control 4 capitals out of Tehran. It's Baghdad, Damascus, Beirut, and Sana'a. Sana'a is still in a war. Yemen. Huge success, and are pushing more and more. And then just yesterday, it was published that they are very important force in the battle against the Sunnis in Mosul, and it's not an accident. Mosul is a very important area for them because they want to build a corridor, which Mosul is one of the doors for this corridor. But I'm not speaking about the details. What's important is to understand that the Shiites are a very negative, dynamic force in the Middle East. In every place in which there are Sunnis and Shiites, the Shiites are pushing. And the friction is all over. And they are very cruel to each other. No mercy in those battles. The other element, which is all over the Middle East, is a struggle between modernity and old schools of Islam, old new schools of Islam. Modernity, I mean state, army, legal system, education, universities, with very many different institutions in different countries. But in one word, modernity. On the other side are all those fundamental Islamic states, movements, which they have something in common in all of them. Is the slogan of the Muslim Brotherhood, Al-Islam wal-Hal, that Islam is the solution. They don't agree about which Islam, and they're ready to kill each other in different approaches to Islam. But it is one huge spectrum of movements which have in mind something in common. Islam is the solution. And they are fighting any kind of modernity around the Arab world. It's a war about the spirit of the Muslims in the Middle East. In a way, it is about the spirit of the Islamic world, because they are transferring ideas from the Middle East all around the Muslim world. And the third, and maybe one of the important elements, is the fact that the Arabs didn't succeed to build even one successful state. All of them don't deliver the citizens feel that they don't get what they should get from the state. They lost their dignity because it's dictatorships which do not functional. Either it is as cruel as was Saddam Hussein or the Assad, or very moderate dictatorship like other countries. I met once a scholar from Kuwait, and I asked him, what underlines all these phenomena in the Arab world? And he said, we lost our dignity and we didn't get anything in return, and this is the basis of our rebellion. We couldn't continue with the situation in which we don't get what we should, and at the same time we are losing our integrity. That was too much. And it could be something very unique. You know, in Egypt it was the fact that Mubarak decided that his son will come after him. And the Egyptians said, we are not a monarchy, with all due respect. That was the straw which broke the camel back. And in each state you will find something that you ask yourself, this is the reason? Yes. But it came based on the phenomena of failing states which didn't provide the citizens hope for tomorrow and what the state should get at the present. And now we are in a chaos in the Middle East, in a world system which is also not so strong and in some elements destabilized by what I described at the beginning. And this is the situation that Israel is in the Middle East, because we are part of the Middle East. We cannot ignore it. We ask ourselves from the beginning, okay, what can we do? The decision was very clear. After many arguments, there were other voices in the Middle East, in the state of Israel. What should we do? And the decision at the end was, it is not our wars. We are not going to take part on that. We will draw some red lines on the sand that it will be very clear what cannot be accepted by the state of Israel. We will use our military capability to make clear to everyone that if someone is not taking our line in the sand seriously, we will react. But we minimize our interference in the wars of the Middle East. And we have to see what will happen. And remember, when there are such a crisis, it's not only problems, it's also many opportunities. And I'm sure that my friends will speak about the opportunities. But the main decision was not to be sucked into those wars which do not belong to Israel. It's not our business. You know the story that once Prime Minister Begin asked, is Israel in the Iranian side or in the Iraqi side of the war between Iraq and Iran? He said, we wish both sides luck and success. And that was the strategic decision which had been taken by the government of Israel. And I think that we have to check ourselves every day and every morning to see if something doesn't change. And if something changes, we have to change our decision. But I think that in principle, that was a good decision which helps Israel to go through all this period and not losing any option in the future.